Welcome into the Moving to Norfolk podcast. I'm your host, Craig Houston. I'm the sole proprietor of the Moving to Norfolk channel and the actual real estate company. So we'll be actually breaking down on this podcast today the December 2023 market review from home sales, pending sales, transactions, and giving you an update on what I have seen in the market as we head into January 2024. This is an updated market review that you're going to see, and you're going to get information like this from this channel each and every day or each and every week, at least 3 times a week. So what I would like for you to do is go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and go ahead and hit that follow on your favorite streaming platform if you're following along with us on the streaming sites like Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Any of your favorite platforms will be available in all those markets as well too. So we're going to be breaking down what happened in December 2023. Now, this is what I really want to break this down as when we talk about market reviews, as we get into the information of the day, is that market reviews are always going to be lagging indicators of where the market was at. And currently we may be experiencing different things in the market going forward. But the great thing about the information that we get from the past is kind of gives us an opportunity to inform the buyers and inform the sellers in our marketplace or what's really going on in Hampton Roads. And I think that's really important to actually stress, because what really happens out of these times is that there's a lot of unrest, there's a lot of indecisiveness, there's a lot of unfamiliarity with what's going on in the market. And when you're not in the market each and every week or practicing real estate every day as a job or as your business, then you don't really have the information that you're plugged into. But the great thing about the Moving in Norfolk podcast is what you're going to get is information that's up to date, current, and relevant in the marketplace, but also information that you can easily digest and get better information from. So with all that, just definitely go ahead and follow the channel and subscribe to it as much as you possibly can. Go ahead and like this video if you get any type of content out of this. Now, I have pinned my link down below to my calendar as the pinned comment down below to if you ever want to book a consult, whether you're buying or selling. We'd actually like to sit down with you. We can do this over a Zoom call, or we can meet you in person if it ever comes down to it. But let's just talk about what's going on in the market right now and get down into that information. So let's start with what you'll currently see here. Oh, that's weird. What just happened there? Technical difficulties, it look like. Let's see. All right, there we go. So what you'll see here is that basically for December 2023, we had the median sales price decline about 1.2% down to 325. Excuse me. Declined to about $325,000. Now, the median sales price is what some bureaus and MLSs use to give you information about what's really going on. That's the narrow down the approach. Excuse me. Wow. Take a sip real quick. Don't know what that's about. Excuse me. So what the median sales price means is that typically this is what you're going to see in the community in the Hampton Roads area where home prices are usually going to fall at. Now, we've seen this actually go on the trend here as the pandemic eased up, and then we got into what happened in 2023. We've seen the curvature here actually play out a bit, and we'll show you this on an even bigger scale here of what it really looks like. So you've seen the market take off, pull back, take off, pull back, take off, and now we're in another pullback experience that we topped out earlier in June around 340 as the median sales price, so 340,000. But what you're seeing, though, is what I like to tell people, well, not tell, kind of educate is more so, I guess the better answer here is if you're looking at this at home, you're seeing that the market is trending upwards. It may pull back every so often, but it continues to glide upwards. And to me, that is promising information. And what I think about this is we talk about sales price in the Hampton Roads area is that we are not, we're getting healthy pullbacks. We're not getting these ebbs and flows like you may see in Arizona or Texas, where, prices went through the roof and now they're starting to pull back and retract very aggressively. What we're seeing is those smooth moves upwards, and then we see a smooth move, it decline, and then we see it goes back up again. And especially in these months where it's supposed to decline, where in the winter months, November, December time frames. Now that we're, ending, we're coming out of the end of the new year, we're starting the beginning of the new year, and now we're starting to see buyers are starting to pull back into the market. But also you got to remember most realtors are teaching clients and sellers that instead of worrying about selling your home in November, December, where you may have less eyes on a home, may get it on the market right after the holidays, where more buyers are going to be in the market, more mortgage applications are going to be up. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing mortgage applications increase. We're seeing more buyers out in the pool right now actually looking to buy, and we're seeing more inventory coming on the market, which is very consistent to what we really need in this marketplace here and in Hampton Roads. And just for an example, last night I had a buyer who wanted to go out and see a home over in Chesapeake. And out in Chesapeake, there was 3 other buyers at this listing looking to see this property. Now, what that tells me is that now we're starting to see this sentiment start to increase a bit here, where buyers are actually thinking like, now I need to get into the market. And now we're starting to deal with more multiple mortgage application problems. So we're going to see more multiple offers on homes as we now trend out of the in 2023, and now we're in 2024. And with new mortgage applications being applied for and multiple offer situations, we're going to see that the interest rate decreasing a bit here is going to increase buying power for certain price points. And in those certain price points, we're going to see people start going after whatever the inventory is providing. And the newest thing on the market is going to be the hottest thing on the market. And if you're, unfortunately, it's going to turn into where if you're a buyer trying to get into one of these homes that are new on the market because of the inventory that you don't like from the previous homes that's been on the market, those newer, hotter inventory homes that's listed are going to start getting to these multiple offer situations where that's going to kind of, what does that really mean? That means that you're going to see less seller concessions. That means that you're going to have to, be more aggressive in the terms that you actually provide. It's going to be less contingencies for the most part in a lot of these cases to get the home. And then we're going to see sellers actually win and dominate in that market and then turn around and become a buyer in the market. That's what we're really going to see. But let's talk about a little bit more here, what's going on out here in the marketplace. And we're going to check out, basically, you see settled sales came down 1.6%. So, I mean, obviously we was at 1,733 sales in total transactions in November. And we've seen a small downslide from there in December. Overall, from a year ago, we were about 15% down from a year ago, that same time frame in December 2022. You would have seen that we had about 2,015 transactions as well. Now, to me, January is going to, show that that it's going to continue to trend down. In my belief, I think you're going to see that continue to trend down in January. But in February, when you get the report for January, what you're going to see now is that that's going to increase drastically all of a sudden, because we're going to see all the pent up demand that we were waiting on. And I think in March, when we look at February numbers, you're going to see that it's going to be a great trend upwards from where we're at currently right now. So when you're looking at the actual settled sales right now, let's just check that out. You'll see that we're still seeing that decrease a bit here now. So you see that drastic tick up from June when we had 2,800 sales in June, and now we're down to 1,705 currently right now. That is, to me, I'm still seeing that we're floating. We're basically, if you're looking at it across the board, we're still higher than most points that we saw back in 2007 or so. So we are still trending upward when we went through the pandemic. So right now, as we went through the Great Recession and with the housing bubble, and we're still sitting around that same level of settled sales back then to predates to 2007. So to me, I think we are right now maybe experiencing somewhat slight of a bottoming in total transaction volume in Hampton Roads right now. So to me, what does that really mean? It could lead to an opportunity here for us to see a big spike coming up to where inventory is so less, or so much more or less than we expected it to be. We still waiting for more inventory to come into the marketplace. And I'll show you a chart here that talks about inventory here in a second. But what I really get out of this is that we are now, maybe at the bottom of where the market may go. Now, could it go even lower? There's an opportunity. It could go lower. But really, what are we talking about if it goes even lower? And I don't see that happening. I'll tell you the reason why here. But really and truly, like in January of 2009, we had 893 transactions during that housing market crash. And then you'll see we bottom out at 926 in February 2010. And we've been trending up from that number in 2010 ever since. So even in 2009, when we went to 893, we went to 926, 1046, 1157, 1315. Then we had a drop down to 1224, 1347, 2000, 2170, 2167, 2000, 1700. Then we had that big spike during the pandemic, and now we're starting to see that little bit of a decline like we did during the Great Recession. And what that tells me is I think that we are close to where we're about to see this thing creep up with more inventory, more buyers coming to the market, sellers selling homes and getting new homes as well too. So we're going to see a net positive in actual home transactions. What I mean by that is that for every home that sells, that means there was a seller and there was a buyer. What we're going to see is that a seller is going to sell the home. There's going to be a buyer for that home, but that seller is now going to go out into the marketplace and buy another home. So that's going to make 2 transactions for the seller and then 1 transaction for every new buyer. So what we're going to experience then is more bang for the buck in transactions as we look forward to it in the Hampton Roads area. And this may apply differently, depends on what location that you're living in right now. But in Hampton Roads, that's what I think that you're going to see. And that's going to be very interesting and on part to what we're going to start seeing as the market starts to trend. So I'm interested to see how this starts to uptick month over month. And you can already start to feel it if you're really out selling homes each and every day. This is starting to change drastically, and the market is feeling it. And if you're talking to other agents and talking to other buyers or sellers in the market right now, and you're seeing the activity that's taking place, we're in a situation where this could get kind of crazy very quickly and rapidly. Now, the reason why I think that, we're bottoming right now is because the interest rates are starting to ease a bit. As you know, if you've been listening to the media in certain fashions, you're hearing that, people are projecting 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6 in certain cases, which I think is the extreme. Cases of where you can actually see the Fed actually cutting the interest rates. Now, until I see that inflation is really under control, I think that let's lean towards the 3 more so than the 6. And what I really can see right now is that the marketplace is taking shape based on that information. Now, they're also always pricing in what's going to happen as well too. So right now, like on the VA loan, one of my lenders was quoting a 6.25 today on a VA loan, and then now and non-conforming is somewhere around 6.5, I believe. So, well, conforming is around 6.5. So conventional loans are around about 6.5. Now, what does that really mean for the market? When the interest rate started, like, you got to remember, we have buyers who've been in the marketplace for 2 months, 3 months, and still looking for the right home. Or we have people that's been sitting on the sideline waiting for interest rates to decline a bit from the 7s, the high, and the low 8s or whatever. And now we're getting them back in the marketplace. And every time that the interest rates continue to creep lower, I think that we are going to see more people enter the market. I think people are starting to understand the normalcy of the interest rates, the environment that we're in, and they understand that this is going to be where we're at. Now, I mean, realistically, if you are renting right now and you're renting in Hampton Roads, and this is just my thought process, and you can disagree or you can agree with me, or, we can agree to disagree. But realistically, what we're seeing is, I believe, if you're renting anything from $1,700 to $2,300 right now, if you're renting, you should be extremely considering purchasing soon. And the reason why is because as these interest rates continue to come down, what is the next thing you think is going to actually take off? Rent. I think rent will become in high demand because when inventory starts being snatched up, which I'll show you here in a second, if inventory continues to stay low and builders aren't building as quickly as they did during the Great Recession because they learned their lesson from the Great Recession, you're going to be in a situation where rent is going to be in high demand. And if renting is a high demand, that means that the rent that you're paying today is going to continue to increase unless you're locking in rental lease agreements for 2 to 3 years, okay, as this market continues to trend in a direction that it may be leading towards. So in Hampton Roads, I think that's important to note and something to keep in mind. Let's just talk about how many median days on market that you're looking at here as we continue to go through the stats. 26 days on market, typically for a home to sell. We've seen this increase drastically over the months right here. I mean, obviously, it's just one of those things where we've seen 26 months, 26 days, 21 days, 18, and we stayed around the teens for a while, and now we're up to in 26 days right now, 23% increase month over month from 26 to 21. Okay, so, and we're still seeing about 100% average of list price received. So this is starting to trend down right here. This is starting to take into consideration that there's some price reductions that's happening. But let's look at it if we take out lot sales. Okay, let's take out land just for, just to kind of re-look at this. So you'll see 330 is the median sales price, is basically flat. So basically taking out land from these deals before shows you that home values are staying consistent month over month right now. So 334 is what we was at before, 330, and now you're seeing that 1,600 of those deals was single family, multifamily, or residential properties, and land made about maybe about 100 of those deals. So we're still about that 26 days median price, but we're even closer to the average price, average percentage of list price received on the market. And now you'll see the median sold per square foot is around 191. And then you'll see your new listings at about 1,596 new listings. But look at that inventory drop off from December to November, right? From November to December, 28% decline. We went from having 4,000 homes for sale in Hampton Roads in November to 2,932 homes, a 28% decline in homes, which means there's about less than 2 months worth of inventory in Hampton Roads. So the question that I receive often is, how is the market doing? And honestly, I tell people, and I try to be, maybe not try to come off salesy, because I know a lot of times when we talk about being real estate agents, a lot of people hear salesy, but at the end of the day, you are a real estate salesperson if you are a realtor. But here's the thing. When I talk about what I'm seeing in the market, I'm telling you what I really experience and what I feel. When I say that there's no inventory right now, we have buyers. Anyone can have a buyer, and we have sellers, but sellers are really, really methodically having we're still in the sense where if you are a seller and you don't have to sell, what do I mean you don't have to sell? Well, there's either been a death, your family has grown, you're downsizing, or you have to move because of your job or some case like that, relocation. Those are the main things. Those are the main criteria. And we're still in that environment right now where the people who need to sell are selling. The people who want to sell, they are trickling in, but they are not where we're at. And the reason why you can say that is because if you're looking at this inventory number right here, as long as it's less than 2, long as it's less than 4, I think you're still going to be in the market where you're saying people who need to sell are the ones who are selling. The people who need to buy are always in the marketplace, and people who want to buy are always in the marketplace. But the sellers create the inventory. And if the sellers are not bringing us inventory, or we can't get inventory for you, this is what the environment is going to show. And that's what that number right here shows you, that everything that came on the market from, look at this, look at these numbers. We saw 3,000, 4,000, 4,000, 4,000, then bam, down to 2,900. When was the last time we was in the twos on 2,000 in inventory? Look at that. Not all year. Not all year. We've been in 3,000s worth of inventory all year. And then what I believe happened is that the marketplace heard that the interest rate environment was changing, and the message had been out to the marketplace, hey, we need to purchase now. If you're looking to get seller concessions, if you're looking to get in the home before the interest rate change, because you can get some type of concession from the seller right now. You're getting good inventory right now. But if this marketplace change, we're going into a frenzy. So that's why I believe that has some contributing factor to the drastic 28% drop that we've seen in the marketplace. And I don't think that's the end of it. I think we're going to see this continue again in January, and we may even see it take part in February, cool off in March, and then we started to trend again towards the summer when school starts to ease up. Here it starts getting ready to let out for spring break and so forth. I think that we are entrenched in the market right now where the inventory is going to stay low, especially through the next 6 months, and then we'll start and maybe see it tricked up a little bit. Now, you don't have to take my guidance on this. This is what I'm trying to tell you that I see in the market. But let me show you exactly what we're looking like when it comes to months of supply of inventory, and you'll see what I'm saying here. So once this loads up, let's see what we got here. I'm waiting on this to load, and I'll show it to you. But what I want, this is where I think that we need to be at. So it's predicated on things that we need to pay attention to. All right, so check this out. Now, this is the graph of basically the months of supply of inventory that we currently have in the marketplace right now. 1.9 is what we talked about. Okay, so less than 2 months. Now, this chart here shows you where we sit at from since 2004 in actual inventory. Now, inventory in 2004 was about 1.9, where we're at today. So we are basically back at what we've seen in 2004. Now, let's talk about when we went into the recession, the Great Recession, you'll see that the inventory spiked up here. We had at one point in Hampton Roads 16 months of inventory, 17 months of inventory. Then we went 16 months of inventory. We saw it trend down. Now, this blue bar here shows between 4 and 6. So the marketplace determines that 5 to 7 months worth of inventory means that we are in a buyer's market. That means there's enough inventory for every buyer on the marketplace to actually buy something and find something that they really desire and want in the marketplace. Well, we haven't been there since 2019, but look how far we are away from that trend line right now. We are a ways away, and we're seeing this steadily tick up, tick down, tick up, tick down. So we get inventory. Then the marketplace sees that the inventory is there. They come in, they buy all the things they're looking for. And now we're back in another frenzy where there's no inventory. And you can feel it out in town, folks. This is what I'm saying to you. So to me, I think the marketplace is not in the change just yet. I just want to make sure I reiterate that. I think that we are, starting to get ready to prepare for what I think is going to be a madhouse in February. I think January right now is a precursor to what we're going to see in February, because what I think is going to happen, and this is all speculation, and I could be completely wrong, but I think the first interest rate drop, that if the Fed decides to go ahead and cut the interest rate by 1/4 of a point, let's say they do, all right? Well, the Fed fund rate, let's say they cut it by 1/4 of a point, and then the marketplace is setting that in, and that leads us to about 5.9, 5.8 consistently across the board. We're going to see a madhouse of buyers coming, especially VA buyers, okay? So that's why I'm saying to you right now, if you have an urge, you have any type of thought process, or you know of anyone who is sitting on the fence and they're considering waiting on interest rates to come down to purchase, I think that is a bad game to play as well too. Like we are in a market where if the interest rates come down, what is obviously going to happen? That means that in some people's mind, they don't see it this way. But if interest rates come down, that means that the equity in the house is going to go up. That means home values are going to go up. And if home values go up, then you still are in the same position that you was in anyway when interest rates were higher, because you still can't get what you really want, or it's still going to cost you the same in one way or the other to get the house that you really deserve, that you really want, that you really need in your life. So right now, I think this is one of those moments where I would like for people to understand where they're at. And this is why we're going to do the market reviews. We're going to make this, this podcast about you and understanding where you're at in the marketplace. So, and, leave me with your questions if you leave me with your concerns. But I want to break down exactly what you'll see in our marketplaces in the major cities that we're accustomed to right here. So this got the whole Hampton Roads in it, but we're going to focus on the 7 cities. So let's go ahead and check out our first one. We're going to start with Chesapeake. Just talk about what the median sales price is in Chesapeake as of December. 365. It's been flat since October, around 365,000. We've seen 194 total sales in the month of December, which is down by 9.8%. The median days on market is about 21 days. And we're seeing them get about 100% of what they're asking for. And you got your median sales prices around, median sales per square foot is about 197. We had 218 new listings, 379 in active inventory, which is a 27% decline. And we had 2 months of inventory in the month of December. Okay, so let's go ahead and check out our next one. We're going to head on over to Hampton. So let's check out Hampton. Hampton median sales price is around 261,000, 132 transactions in the month of December, 27 days on market, which is up 29%. We went from 18 to 21 to 27 since October. Okay, you're still seeing about 100% of asking getting received on a price on a sale. $172 is the price per square foot. 130 new listings, 248 active inventory, and less than 2 months worth of inventory over in Hampton. Now, heading on over to our next one is Newport News. Newport News over in the Peninsula shows about $270,000 median sales price. Our settled sales is actually at 279 transactions taking place in December. 28 days median days on market, which is up 27% from 22 to 28. Still seeing about 100% of average price, the average percentage of list price received. $174 per square foot in median price per square foot. 274 new listings. 498 active inventory, which is down 22% from 639. And we got about 1.8 months of supply of inventory, which is down 16.8% in the month of December. Okay, so all right, let's go ahead and check. Oh, that's with Hampton and Newport News. Let's take that out real quick. We don't want the Hampton numbers. We want just the Newport News. Let's see what we get. Okay, so Newport News actually went up 278,000. So it went about 1.5%. And it's actually 30 days on market. So from 36.4 days. So it went from 22 to 30 days on market right now. Okay. And then major thing that changed here was the inventory is 250. Median price per square foot is around 175. Okay. So let's check out our next one is going to be Norfolk. Okay. So let's look at Norfolk. Norfolk is actually flat for 2 months in a row, 3 months in a row. October to December, we've seen 300,000 be the median sales price. Settled sales is about 11% down, almost 12% down to 193. Total transactions, median days on market is about 24 days. 100% is the average list price received. We got $189 price per square foot with 2.2 months of active inventory in the supplies. Okay, so that's Norfolk. Let's look at our next one is going to be Portsmouth. So Portsmouth shows the median sales price is up 8.5% after being up 9% year over year from the same period of time. So we up 8.5% to 255,000. Settled sales 127. Median days on market 27 days on market. 100%, close to 99% of average list price percentage received, which is down 6.6%. Median sold per square foot is $167, which is up 4.4%. Then you got your active inventory, about 1.7 months of supply in Portsmouth. Okay, so let's head on over to our next one over in the 7 cities, Suffolk, Virginia, which is up 8.1% month over month to 389,250 in median sales price. Settled sales is 148. Total transactions, 34 days on market, 100% of average percentage of list price received. Your median sold price per square foot is $185 per square foot. Had 153 new listings in this month. Look at the active inventory declined by 29.2%. Okay, so we went from 435 active inventory in November to 308, and we got about 2.1 months of supply. Now, I will say, based on this graph, one of the ones that I would say I was surprised about a few months ago was we entered into a preliminary buyer's market in Suffolk. Okay, what do I mean? Well, you see, I talked to you about the numbers somewhere between 5 to 7, but we wind up getting up to about 3.3, 3.1, and this market swing right here to me was when buyers started realizing they needed to move out to Suffolk, because then look, we saw this decline, the increase in peak in October, and then we've been on a straight decline since then, about 32% and a half down. Now, we got one more for you before we close it on out. It's the Virginia Beach one. Market report, you'll see Virginia Beach stays steady, only 0.5% down. 360,000 is the median sales price. Total transactions, 378 total sales. 22 days on market, which is up by 10%. And you still see they get about 100% of asking price in Virginia Beach. The median sold price is up to $212, down to $212. And the new listings was 305 with an active inventory of 518 homes for sale and 1.4 months of supply in Virginia Beach right now. So now, I mean, realistically, I will say the average price percentage of lists received is very interesting because in certain cases, if a home ain't price right, it's going to sit longer. And if it's not in the right condition for buyers, I think it's going to sit longer. Now, I think we are in a marketplace right now where inventory that buyers will consider, not pleasant or anything they have to do real work in. You're not going to find those many buyers that's doing that right now. I think that because of the interest rate environment just doesn't make sense for it, because of how much you got to spend to own the house, make the payment, and then do the upkeep and make the rehab projects that you want to do. A lot of buyers just are not really willing to take that on right now. So I think that we're not in that environment where that produces an opportunity right now. I think that's why we're seeing a little bit more inventory sit on the market longer, which is not a bad thing, but it will, give a misconstrued factor to the numbers. Now, pricing is being aggressively priced. Comps are coming in good. Appraisals are actually meeting appraised values. So we're seeing a lot of upticks in these purchase prices actually continue to go up. Now, like I said, one of the things that is hard to track and keep notice of is that buyer concessions are starting to slide. Like right now, I have 2 buyers that's under contract. One closed Thursday, one closed in February, and they have seller concessions, but they bought early. They bought in the beginning of December. One building, the one right now. That's why he got seller concessions. And builders are willing to work with buyers right now. I think that is important to note too, and that doesn't really spell out in this graph that I showed you right now. But builders are actually, right now are probably where you're going to get a lot of the seller concessions right now. And that is, to me, is interesting in itself, because in Hampton Roads, if you're still looking for opportunity, that's where you might want to get them at. And I don't think a lot of people are taking advantage of those in the way that they should. And I think that's a mistake that could be, that should be looked into a little bit more if you are a buyer in our Hampton Roads market. So that is it for our market review. I appreciate you for tuning in. Definitely listening to what we got going on over here. I just really want to be, brief and quick with you and let you know that we are going to start producing this show 3 times a week, at least at a minimum. Don't be surprised if you see us on here, some days more consistently, or sometimes 2 or 3 times on breaking news. But we will at least start to build the flow where we're going to be consistent with you and bring this back to you until the end of this year. And then we'll see what we have for the next holiday period. But I think that we are looking forward to the information that we're going to provide you. Definitely leave us comments. Definitely leave us with questions that you may have that we can actually help you with. And don't forget to use that pinned comment in this video right here if you are looking to get into a buyer or seller's consult, just to kind of understand what is going on in the Hampton Roads market and see how we can best serve you, our market, and because we are predicated on building relationships through real estate. So I hope that you have a great evening. I hope that you enjoy the December 2023 market review. If you have, definitely give this video a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and share this video with as many people as you feel that it will serve and help. I hope that you have a great evening. Take care. Talk to you later. It's been your boy Craig. Peace.